Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm fantastic.
Good. Guess what? It's Thursday. That means we have Dear John letters coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Got an interesting Dear John letter we'll get to later in the program today. But first, did you know that the prairie dog is the only North American rodent that can bark?
Oh, I didn't know they could bark.
Apparently that's why they're called prairie dogs.
Apparently.
Did you know that right-handed people live on average 9 years longer than left-handed people? I think it's all those scissor accidents. That's what it is. And you are more likely to be killed by a champagne cork than you are by a poisonous spider. So next time you get all freaked out about a spider, just look around and make sure there's not a champagne cork flying your way. Couple of interesting things to start the day on this Thursday, and we've got some fun things happening today. We'll tell you all about that in a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, February the 9th. Today is National Bagel Day. Also, National Pizza Day.
Ah.
What if you're making a bagel pizza? Huh?
You could.
Have you ever had one of those?
Yes.
They're good.
They are good.
It is also Read in a Bathtub Day.
Okay.
Should you put water in the tub, do you think?
Probably, otherwise that'd be weird.
Yeah, just sitting in there. What you doing? Reading? I'm not sure why. Today's the day to do this, I guess. It's also Toothache Day today, which I would have guessed that would have been like a day or two after Easter or a day or two after Halloween.
You would think so.
Because you'd think you'd have more toothaches then, but wonder what's going on this time of year to make it Toothache Day.
Huh?
Yeah. February the 9th, special day. Get out there and celebrate. Which one of those are you going to celebrate?
Hopefully not Toothache Day.
No, I'm going to celebrate Pizza Day. Easily. And I'll read in the bathtub too, but I'm not putting water in there in case I drop my phone. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John from the John and Heidi Show. Join me and my wife Heidi at 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana. That's in the Dominican Republic. You'll get to meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more. Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others. Get all of the details at 80sinthesand.com. Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person. That's 80sinthesand.com, promo code RADIO. You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. A sailor who sent a message in a bottle from sea long ago from Long Island, New York, said he got a reply all the way from England. And it's from a guy who is accusing him of littering. 55-year-old Harvey Bennett said, I kind of felt like no good deed goes unpunished.
That is hilarious.
He said the plastic bottle was one of 5 that he threw in the ocean off Long Island back in 2006. Less than a year later, he excitedly opened a letter from a man, and he was stunned to read the reply. It said, I recently found your bottle, although it came from England, so let me do it with a British accent. I recently found your bottle while taking a scenic walk on the beach by Poole Harbour. While you may consider this some profound experiment on the path and speed of oceanic currents, I have another name for it, litter. The letter went on to say, you Americans don't seem to be happy unless you're mucking about somewhere. Signed by a guy named Henry Bigglesworth.
He sounds like a ton of fun.
Clearly needs to lighten up a bit. Dude, calm down. You Americans mucking about.
Oh, wow.
So how was my British accent? Was that all right?
Not very good.
Not good? You do a very good British accent, but you'll never do it on the radio.
No.
Why not?
Because
we were at the Mall
to.
of America one time, and my wife and my son and my daughter were pretending to be British tourists, and they wanted me to play along. And then they told me I can't pull it off, so they were visiting me. I was from the States. My friends here were visiting from England. And they were talking to everybody on the mini golf course at the Mall of America in a British accent. And it was so funny to us and probably no one else in the world. But you know what? That's one of the things that I love about our family is we'll just do stuff just because we find it funny. And it's not hurting anybody else. So what the heck? This little Mr. Bigglesworth over in England, you need to lighten up. The dude threw a bottle in the water and you didn't have to respond. But I'm glad you did because it gave us something to talk about. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. In addition to not operating heavy equipment, you should also not commit burglary after taking medication. That advice might have been helpful for somebody down in Florida. Patrick Richard Hazel, a resident, arrived home to find A resident arrived home to find him asleep on his bed with a loaded .22 caliber gun and other items that he intended to take from the home. Later, Hazel told jailers that he had taken a large number of muscle relaxers before attempting the crime.
A large number of muscle relaxers.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to play this fun game. I'm going to load up on muscle relaxers and then break into someone's house and see if I can make it out before I pass out. You lost. Didn't work out so hot. Why would you do that? Was he trying to like calm the nerves? Is that what the plan was? Maybe he called him a little too much? I don't know. Anyway, sounds like a interesting thing to do.
Why would you try to rob somebody's house with just a 22?
I don't know.
What do you
I think
you're
that he
gonna
actually
do with
stole
that?
the occupants. So he even stole that from the house.
Oh, it was their
'cause
gun.
It says with the occupants loaded .22 caliber gun
That is
and
not
other
much
items.
of a home defense weapon.
No, I don't know. Anyway,
Might as well have a BB gun.
watch out or I'll shoot you with this pellet. We've got your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh, 30 years in the making. The Daily Telegraph reports that for 30 years, residents of Elmswell, England, were annoyed by a truck driver pulling into the village and blocking the street while they asked where the bacon factory was. For all that time, they kept lobbying the council for a sign directing drivers to the bacon factory. This week, a sign finally went up, but there's no celebrating today. You know why?
Why?
The bacon factory is actually closing finally.
Oh.
So, because nobody could find it before. So these truck drivers were trying to find the bacon factory. They're like, where is this thing? And they finally said, okay, we'll let you put up a sign just in time for the bacon factory to close. I never heard of anything referred to as a bacon factory, but that is one factory that I would like to visit. I'm sure they're probably not like handing out bacon there, but it sounds delicious. Anything is better with bacon.
I've never heard of a bacon factory. I guess I assumed that was just done at meat processing plants where they make all kinds of delicious goodness.
That's what I thought too, but we were wrong. Coming up, we have your scoop of the day.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Starbucks' new latte is named for the husk of a coffee bean that is used to flavor it. Reading the description sounds tasty. It's called cascara. It's the name of a small tree from the buckthorn family that grows across the western U.S., the bark of which, for centuries, has been dried and turned into a powerful laxative. So after reading that, I probably won't be ordering one of those. Can I have one of those? Can I sit near the restroom?
We have a coffee cup that says coffee makes me poop.
I know.
So
I got that for
I'm
Christmas.
sure it does.
Yeah. In Leicester, North Carolina, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, a 57-year-old Glenda Blackwell wanted to prove to her husband that playing the lottery was a waste of money and stupid. He asked her to pick up 2 Powerball tickets, but she grabbed a $10 Carolina Millions scratch-off for herself instead. She said, I wanted to show him that luck doesn't always hit. Well, she's the one that found out that luck maybe isn't such a tough thing. She won $1 million.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I bet she's probably pretty glad, and he's probably pretty glad that they didn't agree on that one. 90% of Americans or more said they bought a pie last week.
Really?
How many people buy pies every week? It says 90% of American households bought a pie in the last week. I don't know why. Is that something to do with the Super Bowl, do you think? I have no idea why.
I have no idea. I've never been to a Super Bowl party where they've had pie.
Would you like some pie? What kind of Super Bowl party is this? You have a turkey here, too? I have no clue. Maryland Public School District has fired one of their employees a week after one of her tweets went out. I actually think I saw this. This was back in January. It says a student sent a tweet directed at the Frederick County Public Schools Twitter account asking for schools to close tomorrow, Tammarow. Did you see this online?
No.
Katie Nash, who was in charge of running the school's Twitter account, playfully tweeted back, but then how would you learn how to spell tomorrow? And with a question mark. A tweet included a smiley face, but was retweeted and liked more than 1,000 times. The school district asked her to stop tweeting from their account and then ended up firing her over this.
Huh.
So the kid said, we want you to close school tomorrow, spelled tomorrow wrong. And I thought it was kind of funny. He was saying, but how would you learn to spell tomorrow? Smiley face.
Right.
That's the tough thing about when you type stuff, you have no idea if people are kidding. You know, she was trying to make a joke of it and be fun about it, but she lost her job over the deal. So that's too bad. 30% of women in a recent survey said they wouldn't marry a man who had a bad credit score. Heidi, thank you for marrying me. But
you're welcome, babe.
In all fairness, you didn't ask me my credit in advance. It's like we're on our first date. She pulls out a little application. What's this? Application for the second date.
I'm going to need you to fill this out.
Can I make a copy of your ID while you're here? Okay. Thank you so much. An Oregon man recently found a year-old $1 million lottery ticket while cleaning his house. He rediscovered his ticket just 8 days before it was set to expire.
Oh my gosh, how much?
$1 million.
Holy cow.
Can you imagine that? 8 days later, it would have been worth nothing. Zero. So it's a good thing he was tidying up around the house. A new study finds that blotting pizza with a napkin to remove the excess grease, do you think it's a good idea or not, Heidi?
Well, I've seen people do it. I've never done it.
How much do you think it would remove per slice? How many calories? 40. 40 calories per slice.
Okay.
And an extensive study finds that American parents have stopped spanking their kids as much as they used to.
Mm-hmm. That's why there's so many little running around.
Okay, you cannot say that on the radio. Oh, Heidi. Why must you? That explains a lot.
True.
Well, as much as I would probably agree with the sentiment of what you said, I don't agree with using that kind of language on this program. All right. Coming up, we have your Dear John letter for today. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, it's a Thursday. That means it's time for
Dear John Letters.
Dear John. Dear John.
All right, we'll tell you how to submit your letter here in a moment. But first, let's get to our Dear John letter for today. Here we go. Dear John, I think my husband may be having an affair. Ooh, that's not good. He's been very secretive lately. He gets home late way more often than he used to. He has many friends on Facebook that are single women, and they're always commenting on his stuff, and he's always commenting on their posts, sometimes very inappropriate things. It says he has his page clearly marked married, and there are a few photos of us together with our kids, but if he's cheating and she knows he's married, I don't think that would matter. Do you have any advice on how I can find out if he's cheating or if I'm just overreacting? Signed, Concerned Wife. Well, that's no good. You know, these are supposed to be lighthearted and fun, right? People know that, right? Have we explained that? We were supposed to be having fun with these every week. Well, dear concerned wife, first of all, I would say this. Even if he's not cheating, if he's doing things that are inappropriate, that's not right.
Correct.
You know, because it doesn't necessarily mean the act of actually cheating is what's wrong, because that's definitely wrong. But also, if he's doing things that are inappropriate in your eyes, I think you should have a conversation with him and just say, I don't think you should do that, because that concerns me. Now, I'll tell you myself personally, I'm a very friendly person, so, but I don't think I'm inappropriate. Have I ever made you feel like things that I've said to people are inappropriate, Heidi?
Oh, there have been maybe one or two situations where, but I let you know right away what I thought about it. I'm not shy.
I can't
when
imagine
it comes
you
to that.
Just leaving that.
No. And if I was this wife, I would definitely point it out to him when he is making inappropriate comments online. She should be saying something to him.
And you can say that in a way that doesn't have to be confrontational.
Or be confrontational.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I guess, there's no reason
not to be.
If it's something that's bothering you, the best thing to do would be to have the conversation with your spouse.
And
this
your
goes
gut
both
reaction
ways.
is usually the correct reaction. In
a lot of the time.
My experience, your
And
gut reaction is usually the correct one.
now, my beautiful wife and I do this program together every single day. So people who are listening that didn't know that Heidi and I are married, we're married. We have been for, almost 17 years now. Holy cow. But we were both married once before, and we both had a spouse that
cheated.
had something like this going on. So we have, we've been down this path. And I can tell you, it doesn't feel good when that happens. And again, in my case, I don't know. I never had evidence that she did this or did that, but it was the things that she was doing that weren't right. Whether you're, in my situation, there were times that she was lying to me, and I caught her in lie after lie after lie, and I just said, I can't do this anymore. I mean, so that's one of those things where what I'm reading here, sometimes very inappropriate things, I highlighted that because that right there is enough. Even if he's not cheating, that right there is enough to say, hey, we really have an issue here. I'm glad to hear that it's marked on his Facebook page that he's married, because that would be a huge red flag. And we've had friends who were dating people who they wouldn't change their Facebook status. And I was like, what? And when I was dating, that didn't exist. There was no such thing as a Facebook status. Back in the day before we were married, that stuff didn't exist.
Right.
But wouldn't that be a huge red flag to you if I started dating you, but I didn't want the world to know it on my Facebook page? That would be a big deal. So I'm glad that he's got that part covered. It says he's clearly marked married, and there's photos of the two of you together. But I also agree with you. If the person that he's cheating, that you think he's cheating with, if that person doesn't mind that he's married. I've met people who knew that I was married, who still made very inappropriate suggestions, and I said, nah, I'm married. And the one lady said, I don't care. And I said, but I do. So, that there are people like that out there, and steer clear of those people. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Do you have any advice for concerned wife?
I would just confront him right away. Tell him this isn't okay with me. And you need to decide, do you want to be with me or do you want to be messing around?
And my wife over here is very well armed, so she would probably confront me while holding a weapon of some
I will
sort.
say that you have every right to be concerned, it sounds like. If your spouse, who never used to go out at nights, is all of a sudden going out at nights and staying out hours past the time that the supposed event is supposed to be over, and then coming home later and later and later.
You're pointing at me right now, aren't you?
That's a red flag, and you should be very, very concerned.
All right. I see where this is going. Concerned wife? No, my wife is concerned. Thanks a lot. Hey, if you've got something that you'd like, make it lighthearted if you could.
That'd be great.
So much better.
It is way more fun when it's a lighthearted. But we're also happy to.
Yeah, glad to.
We should let it be known. We are not professionals.
What do you mean?
We're probably not the ones you should be turning. If we are your last resort for advice,
kind of concerning.
You kind of have some issues there.
You can get all of the details on how you could submit your letter for next week, Dear John Letters, on our Facebook page. All of the details at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? No one knows your loved ones better than you do, and no one knows senior living better than A Place for Mom. They've helped thousands of families find the right place for their loved ones. The Senior Living Advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. Call 1-800-471-5173. That's 1-800-471-5173.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Spain is ruled by monarchs.
I love those butterflies.
I think so. They're beautiful. They run the whole country of
They
Spain.
must be way smarter than I thought they were.
Apparently.
We should be nicer to them.
Fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
Salmon P. Chase is on the $10,000 U.S. bill. So the U.S. $10,000 bill, they haven't made those in years. And if you do get one of those, keep it. It's worth way more than $10,000, by the way. But Salmon P. Chase is who's on there. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Born Jeffrey Atkins, Ja Rule played Edwin in The Fast and the Furious. I almost said Fast and the... What was the other one?
You almost said Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We just watched that.
Yeah, I almost said that. But The Fast and the Furious. Ja Rule is the actor's name, but he was Edwin. But his real name is actually Jeffrey Akins. I can't even talk.
I have no clue what you just
I don't know either. Let's talk about something else. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The movie Short Circuit features Fisher Stevens, Ali Sheedy, and Steve Guttenberg. So there you go.
Yeah, I know.
Couple of fun facts.
Everybody knows that.
Okay, and one last fun fact for
What's
you.
that, John?
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Rosie O'Donnell once called President George W. Bush a war criminal. There you go. And Heidi called Rosie a bunch of things that we can't say on the radio.
We cannot say on
but
the
thanks
radio.
for listening anyway to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. This is a cool story here. Luke and Hillary Gardner never have to worry about forgetting each other's birthday. This married couple, they're both 27. They were born just 6 hours apart, both on December the 18th. Turns out that shouldn't be hard for them to remember their new son's birthday either. Guess what happened? Cade Lee Gardner was born on December the 18th, 27 years to the day after his parents were born. Now, it seems like this would be like really against the odds, right?
Yeah.
But the odds for this happening are just 1 in 133,000, according to statisticians. For comparison, the odds of getting hit by lightning in your lifetime are 1 in 12,000. So, you know, the odds are a little worse than getting struck by lightning, but, you know, still not as bad as you'd think. Luke Gardner is an assistant pastor at a Baptist church in Northeast Mississippi and a student at a nearby campus of New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. He later joked, if we're going to have any more kids, if we don't get pregnant in March, we'll have to wait till the next year. So his birthday, his wife's birthday, and now their son's birthday, all December the 18th. So I
They
wonder,
get to have just one giant party.
so I was going to say, I wonder if that's how it works. Because I was born on my parents' anniversary, on their 8th anniversary. And we would have like a party that was like their anniversary and my birthday. So, and then sometimes it would land on Thanksgiving. So sometimes it would be Thanksgiving and birthday and anniversary. But I wonder if that's how these guys do it. If they do like one big old party and it's everybody. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Do you think it would be cool if you and I had the same birthday? You know the biggest benefit of that? We'd never forget each other's birthday.
I don't forget your birthday.
Do I ever forget yours?
You always get the date wrong when you're talking about it.
Not anymore. I did for the longest time. I always had it off by a day, and I have no idea why. I had like this mental block. I would always say the wrong day, and you're like, no, 27th. I'm like, yeah, 27th. That's what I meant. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the rudest thing you can do at work. Heidi's already done it today. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Only 2 in 10 Americans say they're ready for the unthinkable. Are you ready for a natural disaster? What would happen if you were not able to go out to get food for your family during extreme weather? How long would you be okay without power and without access to get more food? Wise Company has the ultimate emergency preparedness pack with enough emergency food kits for a week, or upgrade to be prepared for a month or longer. Call toll-free 888-552-3759. It pays to be prepared. Learn more at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Heidi, what do you think the rudest thing you can do at work would be?
I have no idea.
You've already done it.
I have.
Yeah, the rudest thing you can do at work is to use profanity.
Oh.
That's the word from a recent Harris Interactive survey about behaviors that interfere with work performance. Here's the top 9 office etiquette pet peeves. We'll start with the smallest one here. Using PDAs or smartphones during meetings. That bugs 9% of the people.
Yeah.
11% of the people don't like personal conversations in the workplace. Hey, talk about work, not about personal stuff. Using a speakerphone in a public area bugs 22% of the people. That would bug me. I will use the speakerphone.
I don't like to be on speakerphone, period.
I'll use it to dial, but I don't use it to talk to people. Cell phones ringing at work. 30% of the people didn't like that. Loud talkers like me. We bother 32%. I can't help it. I just talk loud. Micromanaging bothers 34%. Public reprimands bother 37%. Being spoken to in a condescending tone, 44% get bothered by that.
Yeah,
you do
that
that to me
drives
all
me
the time.
crazy.
You're always talking to me in a condescending tone. I mean, every day. And then using profanity bothers 91% of the people out there, Heidi. What do you think of that?
Oh, they're a bunch of...
I knew you were going to do that. Did you see me hovering my hand over the button? I'm like, oh, wait for it. Anyway, a couple of interesting things there from Harris Interactive. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I think this is a really cool story, Heidi. A Methodist church in Mississippi has come up with a really good recipe for patrons at 3 different restaurants, encouraging people to say a blessing before their meal. For the last 4 months, the Epworth United Methodist Church has placed little laminated cards on the tables at different Jackson eateries with a little brief prayer encouraging diners to thank God for their food. Now, this is the cool part. These cards are placed in a little stand next to the salt and pepper shaker and the hot sauce and all that stuff, but they've gotten very positive response from the owners of the restaurants who said, even though we're not associated with the church, when they asked if they could do this, we said, yeah, that's fine. And a business owner said, our business has picked up since we started putting these blessings on the table.
Isn't that nice? I like that.
That is really cool.
That's something we don't do as often as we should.
I know.
I mean,
We
sometimes when we have
absolutely
our family meal at night, we
Yeah.
will do it. But we don't.
When we're out to eat, hardly ever.
Right.
And you know, your brother does. When we go out to eat with
Yep.
your brother, I'm always so proud of him. He's a great guy.
Of course, he's
I
a
love
great
your brother.
guy.
He's such a great guy.
He's got an awesome big sister
And he
who showed him
listens
the
to this
ropes.
program. So, hey, Jason. I wouldn't have said that if I didn't believe it. I do think he's a great guy. But this is cool that it's going on right now in Mississippi. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you shop online? Do you like to save money? Save money with Honey. Let me explain. Honey is a really smart tool that's free to use. I'm not really an online shopper. I get as many things locally as possible, but there are some things you can only buy online. So when I heard about Honey, I thought, what the heck? It's free. I'll give it a shot. The very first time I used it was for a domain name. It's usually $12.99. Honey searched the internet and found me a discount code, so I bought it from the same exact website for just 99 cents. So I saved $12. It's absolutely free, so what do you have to lose? Check it out at SaveMoneyWithHoney.com.
John and Heidi.
Heidi, what would you say is your favorite processed food product?
Processed food?
Yeah, like Oreos or
Oh, I love
spray
Oreos.
cheese or Spam.
I'll just say yes.
Okay, all of those things. Well, here's a
Except
list
for Spam. Yuck.
of the worst and most unhealthy processed foods, Heidi. Spray can easy cheese. The texture is, interesting and yummy, but you can also use it for stain removing on clothing.
Man.
It's not good. They say
That's not true because that stuff has made many stains on my clothes. So I'm going to
Twice the
call
amount of
big old
salt.
BS on that one.
twice the amount of salt you'd find in natural cheese. Anyway, they're just saying it's something to do with the trisodium phosphates. Anyway, Oreo cookie death filling. What does that mean?
It means the filling inside Oreo cookies.
They say it's basically sugar-flavored Crisco. Oh, really? I didn't know
I
that.
love that stuff.
Now you know how to make it. Just pour some sugar in here, whip it up. Condensed soups. They say half a cup of Campbell's vegetable soup has a heart-stopping 890 milligrams of sodium.
Yeah, that's crazy.
37% of your recommended intake. Spam, the meat-like substance,
Yuck.
80% of its calories come from fat that delivers a whopping 790 milligrams of sodium per 2-ounce serving. Artificially flavored blueberry bits. They're found in frozen waffles. The ingredients are sugar, dextrose, soybean oil, soy protein, salt, citric acid, glucose gum, artificial malic acid. Anyway, I didn't read blueberry in there, so they're not even blueberries. And the last thing on the list is Kraft avocado-free guacamole. There's no avocados in it. Then what is it made of? Well,
Avocado
a whole bunch of other
free.
stuff like food starch and coconut oil and
Yeah.
soybean oil and corn syrup and food coloring. In other words, you're eating green-colored oil, basically, is what's in that. So, bon appetit. All kinds of yummy stuff. All of our favorites. They're not good for you. Imagine that. We've got some good news on the way, and that's coming up in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Listen to this story. This is a story of a real hero. A Berlin florist stopped an out-of-control bus by allowing her car to be rammed. Police say Gabrielle Killick is a hero for driving in front of a bus, which was going about 45 miles an hour. The bus driver had collapsed at the wheel from a stroke.
Oh, man.
And his foot stuck against the accelerator. Gabrielle decided that she had to act as the bus headed toward a busy intersection. She placed her Nissan Almera in front of the bus and then jammed on the brakes, waiting to be rammed.
Oh, my gosh.
She said, I saw it as the only way to slow it down. She said, I passed the bus and could see the driver slumped over the wheel. I put on the brakes in front of it and waited for the bus to hit me. Then, when it rammed into the back of me, I kept my brakes on until the bus got slower and slower.
Oh, my gosh.
And finally stopped after almost half a kilometer. So almost half a mile. Is that? A kilometer is different than a mile, but a long distance. Police say she prevented a disaster and saved the life of the 50-year-old bus driver. The bus was headed for one of the busiest intersections of the city at rush hour traffic time in the evening. According to the police, loss of life and multiple injuries would have definitely been inevitable. Mrs. Killick not only acted as she did. What? Oh, if she had not acted as she did. That makes more sense. All of this because a florist decided to do something and become a hero.
Holy cow.
Can you imagine that? Would you have done that, Heidi?
No.
I don't know if I'd have been fast acting and thinking enough to say, what can I do? I would have called somebody for sure, but I don't know if I would have even thought, I'm going to get in front of this thing and stop it. And
most people would have just pulled out their smartphones and taped it to see what was going to happen. Sadly,
that's what
where
would have
we're
happened today. But she was in a little Nissan Almera, which I don't know what that is. I don't think we have those in the United States.
I don't know what
but
that is.
This again
it's
is
definitely
in Germany.
smaller than a bus.
Yeah, definitely smaller than a bus. So that's crazy. Good news.
Wow.
Interesting stuff. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.